evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Together with the Presidential Communications Office, we bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and the Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Joe Fernandez from Radyo Pilipinas, and this is Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. Bilateral agreements in various areas to include artificial intelligence, digital economy, legal and investment cooperation, and others have been signed during President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s short but highly productive working visit to the United Arab Emirates. Government agencies and House leaders laud the country's positive credit outlook, highlighting President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s strong leadership and initiatives in economic policies and fiscal reforms. The Quezon City Police District files multiple raps, while Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation Chief Larry Gadon files disbarment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The Vice Presidential Security Protection Group will be temporarily replaced following a subpoena issued by the Philippine National Police. Eastern Visayas leaders back the Chief Executive and the House Speaker, describing the Vice President's attacks as reckless, divisive, and baseless. Arguably, it was the President's shortest foreign trip or working visit thus far, and yet the UAE trip filled out or the shaded check boxes in the Chief Executive's working agenda, as PTV's Kenneth Paciente narrates in this report.
Brief but productive. This is how President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. described his one-day working visit to the United Arab Emirates. The chief executive presented the country's readiness to deepen the relationship between the Philippines and the UAE. This was evidenced by the mutually beneficial agreements signed by both countries.
I look forward to the implementation of several bilateral agreements in culture, energy transition, legal cooperation, artificial intelligence, a digital economy, the improvement of government activities, visa waiver for holders of diplomatic, special, and official passports, and investment cooperation.
During his meeting with UAE President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the chief executive acknowledged the UAE government's efforts to protect the welfare and interests of 700,000 Filipinos working in the country. The UAE President, on the other hand, recognized the significant contributions of the Filipino community to the development of the Gulf state.
I thank Sheikh Al Nahyan for understanding that my visit had to be cut short given the need to attend to relief and reconstruction activities in communities devastated by successive typhoons. I also conveyed appreciation for the UAE's government's constant humanitarian support for victims of these natural calamities.
The president also invited the UAE president to visit the Philippines to continue discussions and explore additional areas of cooperation. The chief executive also held a meeting with UAE Vice President and Prime Minister His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, in which they discussed strengthening the partnership between the Philippines and the UAE, particularly in trade, tourism, and investment. Meanwhile, the First Lady witnessed the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding on cultural cooperation between the Philippines National Commission for Culture and the Arts and the UAE Ministry of Culture. She also attended a meeting with Her Highness Sheikha Latifa bint Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who is also the chairperson of the Dubai Culture and Arts Authority, to enhance cultural and artistic ties between the two countries. The President and First Lady Luisa Araneta Marcos arrived home at 10 a.m. today. From PTV Manila, Kenneth Paciente, Balitang Pambansa.
Government agencies and lawmakers have welcomed the country's upgraded credit rating outlook. Department of Budget and Management Secretary Amena Pangandaman expressed confidence in achieving an A rating from all credit rating agencies, noting the recent upgrade from S&P brings the country closer to realizing this goal. House Speaker Martin Romualdez credited President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s strong leadership for the boost in the country's credit rating outlook, highlighting the administration's continued commitment to improving the lives of Filipinos despite ongoing challenges. House Ways and Means Committee Chair Joey Salceda attributed the credit outlook upgrade to key policy reforms, including the Digital Economy, Taxation Act, and the expansion of the investor base through Create More. Deputy Speaker David Suarez credited the achievement to cohesive partnership between the legislative and executive branches under the Marcos administration. Furthermore, House Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Gonzalez Jr. attributed this development to the Chief Executive's proactive governance and strategic economic reforms aimed at strengthening the economy. In the world of financing, banking, or even retail, credit is gold, a must-have that implies trust and confidence in one's capacity to fulfill its duty to lenders. And it's no surprise why and how the country has always maintained a better-than-good standing with its creditors and international financing institutions. PTV's Joshua Garcia has more.
S&P Global Ratings upgraded the Philippines' outlook from stable to positive, citing expected economic growth and improvements like a reduced deficit to GDP ratio. This upgrade boosts confidence among credit rating agencies, potentially lowering borrowing costs. The Department of Finance highlights three key factors. Number one, strong economic growth. Second, improved fiscal performance or lower deficit. And third, stable external and monetary conditions like whether inflation in the country is within its target and adequate reserves. According to the Finance Department, the S&P also based its decision on the laws passed under President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s administration, which streamlined business regulations and simplified tax payments for current and incoming investors in the country.
So dito sa S&P na huling assessment, actually, they cited the institutional strength of the Philippines. Nakita nila na mayroon tayong mga batas na ipasa yung PPP law last year, tas yung recently sinay ni Presidente, create more.
Meanwhile, despite the issues facing the government, the agency assured that political noise does not affect the inflow of investments in the country. DOF Undersecretary Dominic Velasquez emphasized the Philippines has proven that differences in philosophies and policies have little impact on the country's economy.
But I think hindi yon masyado nagmamatter kasi we've proven ourselves na actually we're beyond this political noise. We're able to pass reforms. So ito nga, create more, na-pass natin. We're able to consolidate our finances. And parang kumbaga, kaya tayo merong positive outlook from S&P is because may track record na tayo na nagagawa natin to. Kahit ano pa ang political noise.
For quite some time now, the Philippines has been the second fastest growing economy in the ASEAN region. The agency assures to continue its whole-of-government approach, working with other agencies like the BSP, NEDA, ARTA, and others to improve the country's credit rating. From PTV Manila, Joshua Garcia for Balitang Pambansa.
Aside from the cases that have been and will be filed by the government, the Department of Justice, for its part, is studying whether a charge for the violation of the anti-terrorism law can be lodged against the Vice President. Thus, it is now safe to say that by next year, the second highest official of the land will find herself facing many legal battles. PTV's Luisa Erispe filed this report.
The Department of Justice sees the possibility of filing charges against Vice President Sara Duterte for violating the anti-terror law. Justice Undersecretary Jessie Andres explained this is due to the threats and alleged conspiracy for assassination made by the Vice President against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. The DOJ also believes the threat against the President, First Lady, and the House Speaker is a matter of national security concern given the targets are her remarks.
Na kapag kayo ay gumawa ng mga hakbang para saktan at bigyan ng banta ang buhay ng ibang tao, kasama po yan sa terrorism. Lalo na po kung ang purpose niyan ay to intimidate and create an atmosphere or sow fear. Tandaan niyo po na ang banta sa Pangulo ay isang national security matter.
The DOJ even said this may have instilled fear among Filipinos and asked, what if the president is assassinated? How can she earn the public's trust as the second highest official of the land?
Can you imagine a situation where the vice president is accused of plotting against the life of the president and then the president actually dies? Will the people accept the vice president to succeed the president?
Based on sections 4, 5, and 6 of the anti-terror law, an act intended to cause death to a person is considered terrorism, Even the threat alone or by itself is considered a violation, and scheming a terrorist plot is nothing but an act of conspiracy and against the law. The DOJ then asked everyone to remain calm amidst the intense debates and protests that have erupted on the streets as the whole of government investigation on the issue has been avowed. Meanwhile, on the disbarment case against VP Sara, the DOJ said there are no plans as of yet to file such a case, but is leaving it in the hands of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines.
Yung disbarment po, pinauubaya po namin yan sa Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Hindi po kami maghahain ng particular na kaso dahil ang IBP po mas nakakaalam sa ganung paraan.
From PTV, Luisa Erispe, Balitang Pambansa.
For a former lawmaker who has always been the thorn on the side of the Dutertes, it is now high time to file an impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. The basis for such complaint, he says, would be the threat to the second highest government official uttered against the first couple and the House Speaker. PTV's Melales Moras tells us more.
Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV believes now is the time to file an impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. This after Duterte's death threat against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Hinog na. Sobra. Pwede siyang kasuhan criminally. In fact, kinakasuhan na siya ngayon. Pero kahit na kasuhan ka ng criminal cases, still, Vice President ka pa rin. So anything that happens to the President, pwede ka pa rin maging presidente.
So mas mainam yung...
Kailangan matanggal ito sa pwesto. Nakita nyo ba? Sabi ko may topak eh.
In conjunction with this, Trillanes also criticized the statement of VP Sara's father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who challenged the military to take action against the administration.
That's a crime, no, yung ginawa niya, inciting to sedition, so kailangan managot siya dyan. Ngayon, dun sa effect nung panawagan na yon, ako ang advice ko sa mga otoridad ay huwag magkumpiyansa.
Trillanes was one of the resource persons today at the 12th public hearing of the House Quad Committee, where issues concerning pogos and illegal drugs were scrutinized. During the discussion, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency presented a matrix showing the connection between the two. What stood out was the inclusion of Senator Bongo's photo in the matrix. According to PIDEA, Go is allegedly connected to Chinese drug lord Alan Lim.
Sinabi nyo kanina, si Alan Lin ay involved sa illegal drugs. So, ang ibig bang sabihin, involved din si Senator Bongo sa drugs since kinonect nyo po siya?
According to our informant, they are just close friends. That's why we just put it there. They are just close friends. It is not specific that they are involved in drugs. That's why we have these incorporators, just to interlink them. And we are still digging that what we can have against these people. It is not yet complete, ma'am. It is ongoing.
Following this, some lawmakers criticized the matrix. They argued it would be better if they release such information only after undergoing vetting or verification.
Sorry po, Asek Gumban. Wag po kayong gagawa ng ganyang matrix na incriminating at kinoconnect nyo tapos ang title nyo ay illegal and pogo drugs connection.
Huwag tayong magkakamali because you do not want to accuse a wrong person. Asek Gumban.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, maybe the title is wrong.
Earlier, Senator Go denied being friends with Lim and emphasized he's strongly against illegal drugs. From PTV Manila, Melales Moras, Balitang Pambansa.
Presidential Advisor for Poverty Alleviation Secretary Larry Gadon formally filed a disbarment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte before the Supreme Court or SC. The basis of the complaint is the second highest official of the land cursing and threats issued against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez, which lawyers should not do. Secretary Gadon says if the SC disbarred him in a motu proprio decision based on a video where he, too, was hurling invectives, then the SC should also act on this incident.
Ngayon, eto, si Vice President Sara Duterte nagtatangka na patayin ang presidente, patayin ang First Lady, patayin ang Speaker of the House, si Speaker Martin Romualdez, tingnan ko ang tigas ng Supreme Court ngayon. Sinasabi nila na sila ay tagapagpatupad ng batas.
The Quezon City Police District has decided to hold the Vice President and several others accountable for intervening in the transfer of our Chief of Staff to the Veterans Memorial Medical Center over the weekend. For their part, the Philippine National Police assured they will not merely shrug off this incident and emphasize that no one is above the law. PTV's Ryan Lisigas does us more.
So, ito is nangangulugan na nobody is above the law.
The Quezon City Police District or QCPD has filed multiple charges against Vice President Sara Duterte and her associates. At around 11 a.m., QCPD Acting District Director Police Colonel Melesio Buslig Jr. and the complainant Lieutenant Colonel Van Jason Villamor, Chief of QCPD Medical and Dental Clinic, went to the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office to file the case. Villamor, who was seen in a viral video being pointed at and scolded by Duterte after she almost shut the ambulance door on him last Saturday, filed the complaint. The incident stemmed from tensions at the House of Representatives and the Veterans Memorial Medical Center over the detention of Attorney Silaki Lopez, the Chief of Staff of the Vice President. The charges filed include grave coercion, direct assault, and disobedience to authority.
Hindi po namin inaasahan na magiging ganon ang kahihinatnan nung time ng we were at the Veterans Memorial Medical Center.
The QCPD hopes that the court will favor their complaint.
The Vice President is an impeachable officer. She is not immune from suit. No, based on several jurisprudence, there are no express provision from the Constitution, no, and from the statutes, particularly saying that the Vice President is immune.
General Fajardo explained a minor commotion broke out during the transfer process due to the intervention of the Vice President on the legislator's order to move Lopez to the VMMC.
Malinaw po sa ating mga batas na kung ikaw ay public officer and you lay hands against a agents of a person's authority whose presence there is by virtue of his performance of his official duty. He was directed to assist the patient and yet he received some cursing, but he exercised self-restraint at hindi po pumatol, but you can see in the video na tinulak po siya mismo.
PNP Chief Police General Romel Francisco Marbil earlier submitted a request to Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief General Romeo Bronner to identify members of the Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group who assisted Lopez in her transfer from BMMC to St. Luke's Medical Center. Marbil emphasized no one is above the law. The PNP chief also stressed that any attempt to defy authorities is a clear disregard for the integrity of the country's democratic institutions. Marbil assured the public of a fair and thorough investigation. From PTV Manila, Ryan Lisigas, Balitang Pambansa.
The Vice President's security force or detail is up for complete relief or substitution. Hence, on such circumstances and conditions, it is in the best interest of the Vice President to have a completely set of security people around her moving forward. PTV's Clay Padilla gets us up to speed on the latest developments.
The personnel of the Vice Presidential Security Protection Group, or VPSPG, will be temporarily replaced. AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. clarified this complies with a subpoena received from the Philippine National Police to investigate VPSPG personnel.
Hindi pa namin alam yung specifics nung kaso, no, or yung investigation. But because yun nga, may subpoena sila, it means to say that hindi nila kayang gampanan yung tungkulin nila to protect and secure the Vice President.
They will be replaced by a new set of security personnel from the AFP and the PNP. Around 300 personnel are assigned to the VPSPG, but it is still being determined how many of the current staff, including its commander, are up for relief or replacement. Amid this, the AFP still considers the security of Vice President Sara Duterte a paramount concern.
Let's say may nangyari sa ating Vice President. Maring ito yung simula ng kaguluhan, no? Because of yung salaysay na rin na binanggit niya na kung may mangyari sa kanya, no, meron po siyang mga actions na gagawin, no, against the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker of the House. So, ayaw nating mangyari yun na baka masingitan tayo. Baka meron yung mga ibang grupo dyan, no, di ba? Na may gawin sa ating Vice President para mapagbintangan kung sino man. Poprotektahan pa rin natin ang ating Vice Presidente.
Brown Ordinary reports that he would lead the VP-SPG. He clarified that it will remain under the Presidential Security Command. Meanwhile, the AFP chief refuted the statement of former President Rodrigo Duterte, urging the military to take action on the current developments.
May panawagan na mag-intervene ang Armed Forces of the Philippines sa nangyayari sa ating politika ngayon dito sa ating bayan. But hindi po natin trabaho yun. We cannot just air our grievances just freely being members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kung gusto po natin gawin yon, mag-resign na lang tayo, di ba? Hubarin natin yung uniforme natin, and then that's the time you're free to do whatever you want to do.
The soldiers responded, emphasizing that the AFP is a professional organization, loyal to the Constitution and the chain of command.
Marunong ng ating mga kasandaluhan. Marunong ng mga kasandaluhan. Hindi na yan sasama. Hindi na nila maiingganyo para sumama sa kanilang personal na dikain.
Everybody is in one synced music of being loyal to the Constitution, to our chain of command. There's no such thing as a division.
From PTV Manila, Kalezal Cordelia, Balitang Pambansa.
An official of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, has assured there are no grumblings within the ranks of the soldiers following political tensions. Senate President Pro Tempore Jingo Estrada asked AFP Deputy Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Jimmy Larida if there were any grumblings, to which he responded, 100% none. Meanwhile, Army officers faced the Commission on Appointments, and the members of the CA expressed their support for their promotion.
Only one question, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
General
President.
Larida, meron bang mga grumbling sa military ngayon because of the recent events?
100% none, sir.
Okay, very good. You have to be loyal to the Constitution, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
45 Eastern Visayas leaders expressed their support to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and House Speaker Martin Romualdez by signing a manifesto against Vice President Sara Duterte's baseless accusation and disrespectful behavior. Philippine Information Agency Eastern Visayas Rayan Arinto tells us the details live via phone patch. Good evening, Rayan.
Eastern Visayas deeply took a front on the heavy early Saturday morning tirade of Vice President Sara Duterte against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. At least 45 Waray-Waray leaders signed a joint manifesto of indignation against Vice President Sara Duterte's baseless accusation and disrespect toward President Marcos, Speaker Romualdez, and the Waray people, and another manifesto in defense of Speaker Romualdez and in indignation of the allegation made by Vice President Sara Duterte, calling out her behavior as an insult to the Waray people. Signing the manifesto were key provincial, municipal, and members of the House of Representatives from Samar, Northern Samar, Eastern Samar, Leyte, Southern Leyte, and Biliran. The Waray leaders strongly condemned in their manifesto the Vice President's attacks to the President and the House Speaker, saying they will not stand idly by as its leaders and its people are disrespected. They further said the unfounded accusations only serve to sow discord and undermine the progress and unity that President Marcos and House Speaker Romualdez have worked so hard to achieve. The local leaders sent a strong warning that they will not allow good leaders to be discredited by baseless accusations and will not tolerate behavior that seeks to divide and distract them from the urgent work of nation building. The local leaders further said the President's and House Speaker's leadership is a source of pride for the Waray people and a symbol of hope for the entire nation. They commit to defending the two's integrity, supporting their vision, and working with them to build a stronger, more inclusive Philippines. From the Philippine Information Agency, Eastern Visayas, Rayan Arinto, Balitang Pambansa.
Many thanks, Rayan Arinto from Philippine Information Agency, Eastern Visayas. Good evening.
Ako si Juanito Casañares Alquiris, ug asawa si TC Canania Alquiris nga nagpuyo diri sa resettlement site sa Kalisuhan, Guadalupe, Carcar City, Cebu. Mao ni ang atoang gamay nga yuta nga hinatag sa dar, itutuluhan sa dar. Mao ni atoang mga binuhing baboy. Mao ni nakapahuman og papaeskwela sa among mga anak. Nakapahuman mi og 5 ka anak. Nagpasalamat mi kay dako sa atong mahal nga presidente Bongbong Marcos ug sa atong sekretary sa DAR nga si Conrado Estrella III nga mao'y nagbuhat sa titulo sa among yuta nga ilang gihatag namo ang 2,400 square meter.
Si Mr. Juanito Alquires, mga anak na po yan ng mga naghihintay.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. voiced his support for Palestine's collective aspiration for enduring peace and prosperity as he joined the global community in observing the Solidarity Day with the Palestinians. According to Philippine News Agency's report, the chief executive said the country is gravely concerned over the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza and the escalating tensions in the Middle East. He also emphasized the country is condemning all attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure in Gaza, highlighting the devastating number of casualties on women and children, as well as the severe disruption to essential supplies like food, water, and medicine. An island in Pangasinan becomes the centerpiece of the Department of Tourism's Legacy of the Sea project. What that island is, Philippine Information Agency Pangasinan Jenry Del Rosario reveals in this report.
Residents of Silaki Island in Bolinao, Pangasinan are set to benefit from the Legacy of the Sea project, a tourism development initiative under the Department of Tourism's Tourism Champions Challenge program that promises economic growth while preserving the island's heritage.
Legacy of the Sea project of Bolinao in Silaki Island is the prime example of the President's whole-of-nation approach towards tourism development.
Funded by 15 million pesos from the DOT and 12 million pesos from the LGU, the project will include viewports, floating docks, a hanging footbridge, a mini experience center, and foot trails for unique and sustainable tourism experiences.
Sa buong Bolinao, ito po ang isa sa actually ito ang pinakamahirap na lugar sa area. Wala pong ilaw dito, walang kuryente, walang tubig. Ang proyektong ito ay malaki ang maitutulong ng mga taong nandito kasi magiging tourism spot itong area nila, magkakaroon ng mga hanapbuhay pagdating ng araw.
Maganda po sir kasi para po marami pong pupunta dito ng mga turista para po yung aming pong lugar ay lalong gumanda. Lalo pong uunlad ang aming isla. Kasi po marami na pong tourism, marami na rin po mga dito mga tao dito na lahat pang kikita.
The Legacy of the Sea project, with a timeline of 25 months and 14 days, is expected to transform Silaki Island into a sustainable tourism hub, reflecting the shared vision of national and local government to balance development with environmental stewardship. From the Philippine Information Agency Pangasinan, Jenry Del Rosario, Balitang Pambansa.
First Lady Luis Liza Reneta Marcos graced the Christmas tree lighting in the Baguio Mansion House. Locals had the opportunity to take a photo with the First Lady during the event. It is the first time the Baguio Mansion House will open to the public since 1908. The 9-meter-tall Christmas tree is designed with 38 stunning native Christmas lanterns or parols. In partnership with the Department of Education, a nationwide parol-making competition was launched that has managed to collect 158 entries from high school students. The rest of the entries are on exhibit in Malacanang Palace. Winners of the parol-making competition will be announced on Sunday. Deputy Secretary Sonny Angara, Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, former DILG Secretary Benhur Aulos and other officials were also present in the Christmas tree lighting. A colorful and dazzling fireworks display concluded the event.
Open to the public. Yeah, open to the public. The doors will be extended to be open until 8 o'clock every day from now on till New Year's Day. So, nais namin kayong imbitahan na mamasyal here in the Baguio Mansion House. Come celebrate Christmas with us and let's all have fun para sa bagong Pilipinas. So bagong Pasko. Maligayang Pasko sa inyong lahat.
Maligayang Pasko.
And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez, and this is Balitang Pambansa.